Hi, everybody. It's Stephanie Nadolny from the Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas area, voice of Kid Goku and Kid Go On. It's Collar, oh boy, and Baby Trunks Fly. And you need to subscribe to Du Bois Podcast online. Do it. Cool. Kamehameha.
Aw, but it wasn't even close to what the turtle hermit did.
No! Power level 1,370. Impossible for a kid. And it's still going up. Leave my dad alive!
Wow, that's mean. Hey, let go! Come on, let go! Gee, look at that. Trunks is pulling on Trunks' hair.
Please, drop your restraints. Protect the life I loved. You have the strength. My scanners sensed it. Just let it go.
Yet another fighter you could have saved.
16. You loved life. You gave everything up to save it. And you were just an android. I let you die. I can't do that. I won't watch anymore. I feel it slipping. And I won't watch this anymore!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is Joe, also known as Jay-Z Productions on YouTube. I got an amazingly, wonderfully talented guest today, my aunt.
Aunt Stephanie. Stephanie Nadolny from Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. Voice actress and vocalist extraordinaire.
Let's go. I got a couple questions for you. So, what are you doing during these times of quarantine?
Wow, that's a good question. I've been doing some voiceovers actually for an amazing YouTube channel called Wonderbot Animals.
Oh.
I have my technical director here that's going to help make sure I don't miss anything. We record here at the house here in Euless, Texas. Anywhere from 6 to 10 scripts a week. They're about animals. They're short, maybe 5 to 7 minutes. The scripts are sent to me, and then we record them here with our equipment. And they get edited and made to sound, you know, very clear and resonant. And Dan Bradford, my radio, video, I can't even, there's so many, he wears a lot of hats. So, but he does a lot of the work for me, records it. He's going to teach me how to edit so that I can do that on my own. But we do these every week. We do 2 or 3 a night, depending on our schedule. Sometimes we knock them all out on the weekend. It just kind of depends. And if I'm on a roll, let's do another one. So people can find that at Wonderbot Animals, WonderBot Animals. they can hit the like button and subscribe because we're trying to grow the channel. There's my friend Gail who does some of them as well. The narration just pops, the person who's narrating pops up and you'll hear the voice. So there's some great exposure there. And I'm really enjoying the stories because I absolutely adore animals. I have 3. I had 4. I had a bird, but he had to say, go to birdie heaven. He lived to be 17 though. So I've been doing that. I've also been grilling out, love cooking at home. It's been so much fun. I've learned so much about seasoning, marinating, not just whipping together spaghetti or hot dogs. It's like I'm learning how to cook. My mom was a great cook. And so this is really awesome to be cooking a lot and eating at home. And, or, when I get out, I run around, run errands, I always wear my mask. And I just got tested negative for COVID because I had allergies and they're like, we got to test you just to be sure. So I'm good to go for now. So yeah, and I just play with my animals and I'm doing some promotional work. I did a convention 2 weeks ago in Florida. It was called Collective Con in Jacksonville. It was really fun. There was a lot of we did the social distancing and the hand sanitizers and the mask. I couldn't hug or shake hands, which was very disappointing, but overall the event was very successful. There were other voice actors there, other actors, and it was a good turnout. A lot of fun to travel and get back safely. I'm also a singer.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
And I've been singing a little bit here and there, but with the pandemic, it's been hard to book my band Moonglass. We can be found at Moonglass Band on Facebook. Yeah.
I'll link it.
Juggling.
That's cool. I'll link the Facebook and I'll link the animal thing. I'll link
Wonderbot Animals. Yes, I'll make sure you get that information.
I got you.
I also have a couple of other Facebook pages: Stephanie Nadolny fan page, Stephanie Nadolny voice actress, and then the Moonglass Band. So those are my 3 Facebook pages right now. I was working on a really cool project that had to be put on hiatus. It was an anti-bullying campaign that I was doing with my friend Bo Carver and his wife Aubrey Ann. We were doing like a kind of a radio type setup, but it was on video. We were posting it on Facebook, and we were talking about how we can stop bullying, and mostly in the youth in schools. I personally was bullied. I was a new girl every 2 or 3 years and small towns, and it was a really hard transition. So I can definitely relate to it, and my heart was really behind that. So I hope we can get back to doing some more of the anti-bullying campaign stuff whenever things hopefully clear up. So, but yeah. So I'm kind of just doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
That's cool. Awesome. That's good use of your quarantine. That's cool.
Yeah. I'm just glad that at least we're able to leave and run around a little bit under, the safety precautions in place. So, because it's really hard for me to just stay home and not be around people. I'm a people person, 100%. So.
Nice. What made you want to become a voice actress, and who's your biggest inspiration for voice acting?
Wow, that's a good question. I actually, believe it or not, was voice acting before I even knew what voice acting really was as a business or as an industry. As a child, I started, playing around with voices and making funny sounds, and I was interested in that kind of stuff, and singing and music. I mean, anything vocal, anything I could hear. As far back as I can remember, I think even before I could walk and talk, I was singing and dancing before all of that. And my parents were big into music, so there was always music, big radios, and we had the cabinet, old style cabinet, stereo with 8-track. This is a long time ago, back when I was a fetus, long before you were born. And so I grew up around music, and I just fell in love with disco music from the 70s. So I was just surrounded by it, and it was just, that's all I wanted to do was listen to music and sing and dance and perform and laugh. And then I got into comedy, and the voice acting thing, I think, really started when I got my first cassette player. And I think I was around 7 or 8 years old, and I would get these blank cassettes and put them in and just tape things, like record my babysitters, my friends. By middle school, I was doing my own radio shows, but they were audio and they were just for fun. And I was making up these character voices, and I would have my friend Jody, I'll have to have her listen to this and tune in. She would be interview me, and then we would trade off, and I would interview her, and we would just make up these funny skits, and we have them all on cassette, and I'm looking for them now. They're packed away, but I'm hoping that they're still salvageable and can be, you know, switched over to some form of format for the computer so they can be preserved, because, you know, I really had a lot of fun with that. I think it'd be fun to listen to them now, especially because I was only 13 at the time. So I was voice acting before I really knew that there was a profession out there for me someday, and singing as well. So yeah, I always have enjoyed that. And I like to hear, like, listen to different voices, and I remember mimicking a lot. I still do that to this day. Like, if I hear something, I think it's funny, I'll imitate it, you know, girl, female, boy, guy, old people, little people, babies. So yeah, I just have always enjoyed just doing that regardless of what I was going to do with my life. So it started as a little kid.
Well, I think you're very talented, Andy. So.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe, my nephew.
No problem.
Good.
Okay, what was your favorite role that you've done, like, in your career? And then can you please do the voice?
Oh, my favorite role. Wow. Well, that's going to be a cross probably between Kid Goku and Kid Go. Well, I wouldn't say Teen Gohan because he was only 11, but the Cell Saga Gohan and Kid Goku. But I think out of the two, I think Kid Goku has a little bit of the edge, and I think that's because he's so innocent and funny and, like, comedic. And I like to laugh and make people laugh, and I enjoyed voicing him because he had so much of that slapstick comedy. He was just raised in the woods, fearless, you know, and he was just so innocent. He didn't know girls from boys. He ate all the time. He would catch his fish and put it over his shoulder, and, you know, so I got to kind of live vicariously through this character as a little boy that I could never be. So I think Kid Goku, and so he's, you know, hi, I'm Kid Goku. I'm going to be in the World Martial Arts Tournament. Yeah! Kamehameha! Now, where's the food? I'm hungry.
Thank you. That was so cool.
You're welcome.
Can you also do the Gohan, if you don't mind?
Oh, absolutely. Teen Gohan, or, well, almost Teen Gohan. Yeah. Pre-Teen Gohan with the Super Saiyan Cell Saga. I'm Gohan, and sell this fight. It's meaningless. Ah! Don't hurt my friends.
Awesome. I'm sorry. That's so cool.
But I'm supposed to do the screen for 5 minutes, which I don't know if I could do at this point in time. I think I'd fall off the chair.
All good. All good. And also, I think KO, if you could do that, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yes. I'm KO, and I'm here to defend the plaza.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love the voices.
He had some of the funniest lines. You look so cute when you're sleeping. Kind of like a little lamb.
You're so talented. Oh my God, sorry, but you're so talented.
Baby Trunks.
That's
There's
awesome.
a baby I never got to be.
Yeah.
Well, I was a baby, but not that baby.
That's cool.
Have you heard East Kai?
Yeah, can you do that one if you don't mind?
Absolutely. I'm East Kai, and I'm the queen, and the queen shall win the gold. Oh, yes. Oh, my.
That's so cool. I'm sorry, but that's so cool. It's awesome. Okay.
Okay.
If you could pick any movie, TV show, etc., what role would you have loved to done? But obviously you didn't, but you wish you did.
Oh, well, so many. Well, as a kid, long ago, my mom took me and my brother. We were just little kids to London. It was only 2 or 3 days trip. She worked for British Caledonian. She was a secretary there in Houston, and she took me and my brother all by herself, and she was in her 20s at the time, to London. And when we were in London, she took us to see Annie. It was just not the Broadway version, but the one in London. And I absolutely fell in love with Annie. So as a child, I would have absolutely, hands down, wanted to be cast as Annie. I was singing the songs full voice on the way out. My mom was like, she was apologizing to everybody. You know, I was like, tomorrow, you know, just couldn't help it. And then as I got older, wow. Well, So a role, let me think for a role, like a movie role. Well, I mean, that would have been really cool to do Wonder Woman. I always loved Wonder Woman. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Linda Carter, the original TV Wonder
The
Woman.
good ones.
Yeah, I watched that when I was a kid. And then I watched some different stuff. You know, I loved the Brady Bunch. I thought Cindy with those little curls was so cute. And I watched Gilligan's Island. I watched all the, you know, after school stuff that we used to watch. And they were all older. And so I liked a lot of stuff. And I was really into singing. So I was into Donna Summer big time. When I heard Donna Summer sing, I think I was 3. I knew something inside me said, I want to sing. And I have definitely been inspired by her. With my singing voice, absolutely. I would give concerts on the merry-go-round when I was 5 and 6. I memorized every album front to back, even the banter in between. And the teachers would just sit back and laugh, and I was just like, this is just who I am, you know. It wasn't to show off; it was just me, you know.
Yeah.
So let's put on a show. It wasn't always a good thing though, because there was the conduct issue in class, and you have to sit quietly. Not pass notes, not talk in between, you know. So I had a little conduct issues there when I was pretty young, but I grew up and became a lot more disciplined, which is good. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Over the years of your career, do you still keep in touch with your co-stars, directors, etc.?
I do with some. I do. Mostly the original cast, they call it the OG.
The OGs?
Back in when we first started recording Dragon Ball Z, we were somewhere around episode 54. We kind of picked up where the show had been recorded, where they left off in Canada, and the show was brought down to Texas, and then it was recast. There's a lot of talent in Dallas-Fort Worth. It's kind of like a little mini LA. There's just not as much opportunity there. You know, there's a lot more talent than I think opportunity in general. So you just kind of have to work at kind of building your own persona in the industry and keep reinventing yourself. But we started then, and it was a small company at the time, Funimation, and there was not very many people there. We had a real small office, one recording booth, one recording engineer, and like 1 or 2 directors. So it was a small deal. So we were all like, you know, brothers and sisters, and we would have cast parties, and we were able to do things like that. We would have T-shirts made, you know, like, no, don't what is it, puff your peas, or don't puff whenever you, anyway. We had like these little phrases for the things we did, and then we would give out little pictures of our character with the favorite lines. And I remember they called me the reactress because, you know, I don't know if you remember Gohan as a kid. A lot of his lines, besides full speaking sentences, are more reactions, like, whoa, dad, you know, Piccolo, you know, they're, you know, kind of, he's kind of in the background, and he always kind of holds it all in, and then later on he explodes. But there was a lot of reactions, shock and awe, things like that. So my certificate was, I was at the reactress, and my line under my character that was on the picture was, but dad, you know, just D-A-A-A-D. So we would do these parties, and then, you know, sometimes we'd have them catered and stuff. So I remained friends a lot with the director at the time was Barry Young, I think. Barry Watson, sorry. I know another Barry in the music industry. Barry Watson and his brother, and also Tiffany Vollmer, voice of Bulma, Sunny Strait, voice of Krillin. Let's see. Oh, Linda Young, she's a sweetheart. She's voice of Frieza. What a fun time we had in England. I got to appear with her 2 years ago, or beginning of January 2018. There was a convention over there, so I got to appear with her and Sunny, so that was a treat. Another one is Cynthia Krantz, voice of Chi-Chi. Wendy Powell, she's done lots of different voices. I keep up with them. Mike McFarland, I mean, we've got Facebook, so we can kind of like, you know, message each other because we're not working together. And of course, right now it's really hard to see people in person, but I'm always up for a reunion. But a lot of these appearances that we've gotten to do over the past, especially the past year or two, it's kind of been this resurgence of the OG cast, like the original Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball character voice actors. And so there's been some appearances, whether it be virtual. Now they're kind of more virtual, not so much in person, but we've done some things over the past year or two where we've gotten to get together and, you know, appear together. We've got this guy, Jose Mega Man, who's putting a lot of stuff together for us, some comic book shops. we're gonna be doing a virtual signing with me in August of 2020. Not sure of the date. It'll be after the 15th, probably sometime around in there. I'll make sure to post that. And yeah, so I keep in touch with people. They'll put something up and I'll either hit the like button or write them back and support them in their endeavors. And I love them all. Love them all.
That's cool. That'd be cool. Like, imagine like a reunion podcast, like get the gang back together, right? Get the OG gang together. That'd be cool.
It would be so cool because we did do some games. Those were really, really fun. Those were kind of trying because we had to do a lot of exertions in different speeds. Like and then and being a singer, with the rhythm, I think that helped me in my voice acting a lot. Was that I was, I could hear the rhythm and the changes and what matching the mouth flap to. Funimation was really good about really wanting to match those flaps and really precisely, and also the voices had to be very, very unique and distinct and different. That's why I remember they had me read for Frieza, they had me read for Bulma. Not Bulma, I'm sorry. Who else was I? Oh, they actually had me read for Frieza. My voice just sounded too much like Gohan, so they wanted to make sure. So when East Kai came around and I just tried out for it, they said, just try this and see what happens. My voice is totally different. And that's the only reason why I got that role, is because it doesn't sound anything at all like Goku or Gohan.
Nice.
And then I got one small role as Andrea, which is Teen Gohan's first girlfriend. And then that's just that's up. You wear teddy bear underwear. So that's like a whole different voice as well. So I like that they were really particular about making sure the voices were very distinct and that there was a definite difference. There was no confusion. So I liked that about the how they recorded. And I'm sure they still do now. It's really awesome. So
Who is the coolest person you've worked with? The coolest.
Coolest. Does it have to be voice acting, singing? Does it matter?
Up to you. That's up to you.
Okay, I'll do the favorite, coolest voice actor. Gosh. I just love everybody, but I guess the coolest, because I've met some really cool voice actors from like LA and New York at some of the conventions. I think it's Rob. Is it Rob Paulson? We talked about Rob Paulson? Yeah. He's great. He's great. I wish I could have worked with him. We had a really good, we were hung out after at the dinner. We really hit it off and talked a lot about the industry and our families and stuff. I thought he was greatness. Let's see, Victoria Taylor, is that her name? Voice of Ash on Pokemon. I met her in Australia. Yeah, that's Veronica. Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah. She was pretty cool. That was a long time ago when I met her. But as far as like the Funimation cast, I would have to say, I just can't help but love Linda because she's so sweet. We're like soul sisters. And Cynthia. So Cynthia, Linda. Because I like them as people, not just as voice actors. I like them as people, and we stay in touch. And I also really like Tiffany, and she's been struggling with COVID, and she's working through it, and I hear she's doing better, hopefully. So we meet for lunch, but it's like every once a year or two, or at a signing. She and I are like, we hit it off immediately. And then as far as singing and performing, I had a band that I was invited to front called the High Rollers, and we were the house band for the seniors at the WinStar World Casino in Thackerville, Oklahoma. And that whole band, all of them, every single one of them, I swear, their talent was unsurpassed. They all had years and years of experience, brought a character to the table, which I thought was fun because a lot of the unique difference about the High Rollers is we weren't just performing a song. We were putting on a show. And I learned a lot from doing that and fronting a band from Vince Vance of Vince Vance and the Valiants. I ended up showing up to an audition, or somebody heard me. It was a crazy thing where I had been, I was singing with my first band, and I was 18 and I had just started college. And I met someone who met someone kind of thing. And I ended up at an audition for a band called Lindy and the Look. And then the manager, Ed Cobb, saw me as more of a fit for Vince Vance and the Valiants, and they had somebody that was leaving due to illness. And so I went and auditioned for that and then got the role immediately. And that was crazy for me, 18, 19, going on the road. I was so green. I was scared. I was like driving to Dallas in traffic, like Never had done that. I grew up in small towns, you know. I mean, I'm from Memphis, Tennessee originally, but all my towns that I lived in were much smaller. So I had to like grow up fast, and I learned a lot from the people I worked with. They were all older than me. I was the baby, and I ended up staying over 20 years. I stayed 10, left for a little bit, joined some bands locally, Bulletproof Brass, The Project, The Factory, and then the High Rollers came along. But I just kept kind of gravitating back to Vince Vance because they were my family. Vince Vance is he's like total family. We were on the road constantly, sometimes 200 days, 260 days a year. One of our tours was a month long, and we were all over the United States. We ended up going to Spain. Where did we go? Yeah, we went on a USO naval base tour in January of 2000, and so we got to like see the world a little bit over there. And what was cool is I saw Dragon Ball Z stuff over there, and I saw Dragon Ball Z in Italian on my TV in Naples. I was like, what? I had my video camera. I'm like, this is so cool. And it's just, I didn't realize it was so global. This Dragon Ball Z thing is just it was way bigger than I realized. And to this day, I'm still humbled and amazed by it. It's just crazy. So the original question though was, just to make sure I don't miss anything.
Oh, good. The coolest person you've worked with.
Yes. So as far as in the performance world, it has to be Vince Vance because I cut my teeth on Vince Vance. I mean, we did costumes, we did dancing, choreography, I ended up staying so long that I became the mentor, and we go out and, seek out new talent for the band and choreograph and make sure people, had the showmanship and, bring them out of their shell, make sure they smile, knew how to, put on a show and just be a good influence and be encouraging and things like that, and take them under my wing, I always wanted little sisters, and kids. I don't have any. So that was kind of my way of kind of being that motherly person, which I'm very motherly. So I have fur babies. So Vince Vance. And then as far as after that, it would have to be Dan Bradford, who is my best friend, my bass player. Dan the man. He's a vocalist. He is all around amazing with technology. He does radio engineering, video editing. He works at a radio station, so he can edit like voiceovers, radio spots. He also knows how to upload things. He knows all of how to get a computer to talk to the computer at home and the computer at home to talk to work, and just technical things, and headphones and gear, and he plays a little bit of keyboard. Even he plays keyboard bass. He's teaching me how to play some basic piano. I took piano as a kid, but I'm thinking about going back into it so I can start accompanying myself, which would be so much fun. So I can't say enough about him. He's also been a personal dear friend of mine as well. So I say Dan Bradford.
Nice. Dan the man.
Dan the man.
Yeah.
And Troy Powers. Troy Powers is in Nashville. He's a songwriter, and he was a good friend of mine in Vince Vance of the Valiants. He played guitar and was an amazingly talented songwriter and all-around good guy.
Awesome.
So Vince Vance, Troy Powers, Dan Bradford, and the High Rollers Band, which is Mario Cruz, Mike Nicosia, Paul Piper on drums, and Randy Vradenberg on guitar. Can't leave him out. We've done some duos together. Duos and trios with me, Dan, and Randy. We call ourselves the Moonglass Trio. So I've got the Moonglass Duo, Moonglass Trio, Moonglass Quartet, and if you want the full band, we can add horns, which I love working with horns.
What director taught you the most, and which director would you love to work with?
Oh, out of voice acting?
Anything.
Wow. I learned a lot from the people at Cartoon Network in LA. I'm telling you what, man, you got to be on your game there. They are quick. They're like, you do this, you do that, and you do it. And I mean, it's like, they got it going on in LA. I had a blast going to LA a couple times to record for OKKO. But as far as Funimation, probably Mike McFarland and Sunny Straight.
Nice.
Had a lot of fun working with them, very professional, but we could laugh in between, take little breaks, get some water, just got along good. Good chemistry, really good chemistry. Yeah. I even got to direct. I got to direct some animation themes, and I also was able to be cast as the vocalist in some of them. Two of them were from Kitty Grade, the opening to Kitty Grade English version and the ending to the Kitty Grade. It's an anime. Okay. I think I did a song called Sayonara Bye Bye in Yu Yu Hakusho. I was able to sing that in the studio, which was a blast. And then what else? I did a song for Case Closed. And then there was one more, Indelible Sin. It's hard to find this stuff, but they're a lot of them are on YouTube. You can kind of look them up and stuff. Sometimes they don't feature my name or anything like that, but they can be found. And to change things up a little bit, so that I wasn't singing on too many things, we would cast people, and then I would get to go in and produce them and help produce them. And I remember producing Tiffany Vollmer. I don't know if they ever worked it out to where she could actually be the one that they chose, but it was such a cool experience to be behind the scenes and not the performer or not the voice, but actually kind of teaching someone and guiding someone. And we had a really good session together, and that was a really good learn. I'd love to do some more of that, actually. And some like write my own music and produce my music. And another thing I have to say, because it's so much fun, for a while there in the 90s, the late 90s, right around the time I was cast as Gohan, I was working with a company called TM Century, and I was hired to sing some parodies, which basically is kind of like a Weird Al Yankovic thing where they take a topical song or a current and mix it with a current event and make it funny so that it can be played on radio, like morning show radio or different types of things, and they could subscribe to a service, which is like a radio service. So I would do parodies. Well, I ended up starting to write them myself, not just perform them, but like I did one called Broccoli Spears. That was my first one. Eat your veggies when you dine instead of hit me baby one more time. That's where it all started. I want to say that was around 2000, but yeah. And then after that, I did RECEIPT instead of RESPECT by Aretha Franklin. And that was about After Christmas Returns, having your receipt. There was another one by Christina Aguilera, instead of Beautiful, I am beautiful. It was I am pitiful. And so everything was about being pitiful. And so I wrote the whole song. And then another funny one was, if you remember Kelly Clarkson, when she first came out and oops, there's a bug. With something shiny. No, I'm just kidding. She had a song called A Moment Like This. And a parody, such a good song. I wrote one called, co-wrote one called A Turkey Like This, and it was all about Thanksgiving. All about Thanksgiving. Turkey like this, some people wait a lifetime for a turkey like this. They'll eat that bird forever for that holiday dish. Oh, I can't believe it's Thanksgiving Day. Some people, oh wait. We'll tie it for a lifetime. They need a turkey sandwich. That's just an idea, one of them. Turkey like this. Did one for Christmas, Kids Christmas. That's on YouTube. Wrote and produced that with Carl Finch and Brave Combo. He's the leader and founder of a Grammy Award-winning polka band called Brave Combo out of Denton, Texas. Worked with them for a while. Blast, amazing musicianship, original music. We started a band called The Cookies. I'm going to be uploading that material, full album from 1997. That was back to some of my first recordings, live recordings. So, yeah. So I'm going to be getting that up. And I'm also going to be producing and recording hopefully the first EP for my album. So I've got a lot of ideas. I've just got to kind of like streamline what I'm going to do first and prioritize it and everything. So yeah, lots of stuff.
Awesome. Believe it or not, that's why I want to become a director. Because I like to write scripts. I love to do that.
Yes. Are you into music or more the voice acting stuff?
Like a director, like for movies, TV shows, any of those.
Oh yeah, that's great. And you're so young. You're getting your feet wet.
Yeah.
Taking your teeth into the business there, getting the technical stuff going. That's awesome.
If you were a voice actress, what would your career be, and what other interests and hobbies do you besides voice acting?
If I wasn't, I would have to absolutely, hands down, work with children. Teach music, musicianship. I would do musicals, theater workshops, mentor children that are wanting to get into the business, possibly start an agency, build a business. I also, which this isn't completely out of the realm of what I could be doing now, I guess, is do singing telegrams. I started to do that for a little bit. I might be getting back into singing telegrams, which would be great because then I could come up with a character. Then I could also dress up like the character, sing the song, or get the song, change the lyrics, or write an original song and then go deliver it to somebody in person, which the pandemic is making that a little difficult. I guess you could do it virtually, which would be, I think, just as effective. Maybe not quite as effective, but So singing telegrams, working at nursing homes. I absolutely adore seniors. The high rollers worked with the seniors. Everybody there was over 50, 55. Some of the people that would come to this casino to have breakfast and gamble and watch the band and dance were in their 90s. I'm not kidding.
Wow.
And we would have breakfast with these amazing seniors every week. Let's see, Wednesday and Thursday mornings for almost 4 years straight. So these people became like our family. And there was 2,000 people coming in and out each morning, Wednesday morning and then Thursday morning. And we would just perform oldies. We would take requests. Like I said, the band, so amazing. They could just pull something out and we would just do it. Based on our own experiences, we came together and put on a show. And like I said, I learned a lot from Vince Vance, from him being a big showman and entertainer. And we're still great friends today. In fact, I performed with him a couple of weeks ago at a show in Sunnyvale. And yeah, it was a live show and it worked out great. So yeah. So nursing home, children, mentoring, being a good influence, encouraging, people who want to get into the business and just kind of help show them the way and bring out like what's the best in who they are and what they can convey and what's best about what they can perform and show and share, because everybody's has gifts and they're God-given gifts and they are meant to be shared, and to help them help whatever that is, determine what that is, and find out what people are the most passionate about and help them, bring that out and be the best that they can be.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. When you said that, like, believe it or not, like in 6th grade, like I actually I wrote like on my teacher's board, like she wanted me to write down this quote I made up. It's like, if you try your best every day, you'll be the best you could be. That's why.
Oh, Joe, that's so cool. That's awesome. Just live by that, man. That can be your mantra.
Why not?
It's a good one. I just think being positive and encouraging is the best thing. This world is going through a lot right now. Gosh, over the past, there's been wars, there's been sickness, pain, suffering, racism, bigotry, bullying, illness, cancer, heart disease. I mean, just so much that can be so negative and it can pull you down. And I think that it's important, I know for me personally, to be hopefully be some kind of a light, like a beacon of light that shines to help bring happiness to others. And I think that's why I knew at a young age it was just natural for me to want to entertain and take people out of the suffering or away from the pain, or bring them into a place where they can relax for a little bit and enjoy a song, or tell them a joke, make them laugh. And so, I mean, of all ages, but I think there's something about children and elderly people that I just naturally gravitate to.
That's cool.
So, yeah, I plan to be working with them regardless, but those are some things I would do. And I thought, would be fun is to be like a senior home activities director, where I could like coordinate activities for the seniors, make sure they got, like say wine and cheese day or happy hour day, or celebrate the holiday, St. Patrick's Day, and then decorate and have people come out and hire an entertainer. I think that would be a lot of fun too.
That's cool.
And just, bring joy to these people. And some of them are so lonely and they're stuck there, especially now. I mean, nobody can do any, it's this pandemic is just, it's affected everybody all over the world.
It has.
Yeah, the whole planet. It's just sad. So yeah, as long as I can bring a smile to people's face, share my gifts that are not from me, but from God and the universe, and just be. I'm kind of spiritual, so.
Yeah, spread positivity, right?
Yeah. Don't say if you can't say something nice,
Absolutely. Right. Do you have a favorite band and type of music?
Oh yeah, hands down, disco. Donna Summer, ABBA.
Nice. Okay, that's good.
All the one-hit wonders, Gloria Gaynor, Thelma Houston. Oh, I loved Elton John. Grew up with Elton John. Neil Diamond. He's not disco, but I loved him too. I still listen to it. I've got it all on my phone, and anytime I want to escape from the world, I put in a CD in my, driving down my car. I'm jamming. Who else? My gosh, there's so many. I just can't even think. Sometimes I'll just put on like the 70s on the TV or YouTube and just let them play. And I'd run into a song I hadn't heard in 20 years. And it's like, it just takes you back, right? Takes you back to the time.
It's like a little time machine.
Yeah, and I love 80s music because I grew up with 80s, and all my friends from middle school and high school, we all grew up in the 80s. So, and all the 80s are coming back to the kids now, which like the 50s and 60s were a big deal when I was a little kid. So I see how all this stuff just kind of comes around. And I also had a fascination for some of the 90s. I liked Ace of Base. There were some really good entertainers out of Sweden. I like Ear Candy, Pop, Bubblegum. I really like that. But then I also love classic rock. Some of the bands I love are, Steely Dan. I even liked Van Halen. My brother listened to Pink Floyd, Van Halen, John Cougar. There's so many. Some of the harder stuff, but we've never really got too much into heavy metal or anything because I have to have a melody. If I don't have a melody or catch a melody, I can't really engage with it. And there's a little stuff here lately. Not as much as the older stuff though.
Did you like the Partridge Family?
I love the Partridge Family and the Brady Bunch, and they put out great stuff, right? I think I love you, but what am I so afraid of? It's like greatness, you know. The Monkees.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the Beatles. Holy cow! How could you not put the Beatles in there? The Beatles are amazing. They're geniuses. Everything sounded different, but they had this sound that connected everything, and it's just And my best friend in the world, Dan Bradford, he and I we're not exactly the same age, but we're close enough to where we can remember, the 8 tracks, and we can remember cassette tapes, and we can talk about what's going on now, and really relate to that. Especially having performed on the stage, we performed in at least 4 different bands together.
Wow.
He was in a band called Signed, Sealed, Delivered, and I subbed with him a few times. We were all under the same umbrella, a lot of bands under the same umbrella of Absolute Entertainment. So we had the Project Band, Cuvée, Signed, Sealed, Delivered, and then the High Rollers. There were a few other ones. So it was really neat because we got to we were kind of interchangeable. Like we were all show bands that could work at parties, weddings, clubs, festivals, fundraisers, things like that. And so we were all interchangeable, being that, Megan's sick, let's bring in Stephanie, or Stephanie's not feeling well, so she'll sing with this band. It was really cool. But for the most part, we had we were the set band members. And that was a lot of fun. And I've worked with Dan in at least 4 different groups, and including my own personal group, Moonglass, which is an offshoot of the High Rollers because the members in it came directly from the High Rollers. So we already had all the material. It was just a matter of just slapping it together and then getting on the phone and saying, hey, can we come play? What time, what day? Is that cool? Negotiate, hit the pavement. I was a sales rep for 7 years, so I knew how to sell stuff. And I love people, and I'm not high pressure. I'm like, hey, if you don't want to buy it, hey, I get it, I'll be on my way. So I think I have a natural intuition with people, so I know not to be pushy when I know when someone's not interested. Like I'm at the grocery store, I'm like, hey, how's it going? And they're like, okay, carry on. Especially now with the pandemic, not everybody wants to talk so much, visit so much. So it's like, okay. It's hard. It's hard for me because I want to talk and visit and listen and meet people. And yeah, it's really hard for me personally on this. This whole thing is, yeah.
Crazy. You have a great singing voice, by the way, when you're singing those
Oh,
songs.
thank you. Thank you. You can find some cool, let's see, I was going to talk to you about this.
Sure.
The most recent actual video demo with me singing, performing, acting, whatever, with costumes is a snippet video that Dan actually produced and put it all together based on footage that our friends from Vernon took, Charlotte and Doyle Close. They took a bunch of these videos right when we were at the very end of our career there at WinStar. We actually moved to the Palladium Lounge instead of in the bingo hall. And it was more of a show stage with a big video screen in the back. And then it was out there in the casino with all of the machines, and there was a dance floor, and it was like kind of a different thing. So I decided that I was going to add in and contribute my history with Vince Vance and bring in costumes, choreography. I dressed up as Cher and wore the black wig and the 60s outfit and did, I got you, babe, and it was fun because I could kind of like try to also emulate them and sound like them. So that made it more of a show. And then I'd come out and do the 50s thing with the poodle skirt or the Catholic girl and Pink Ladies from the, I guess that was in the 50s, I guess.
Pink Ladies and Grease.
I love the movie Grease. Yes, I love Grease and the Wizard of Oz and Sound of Music. Big time. Oh, and Thornbirds.
My mom loves
Yeah, see, your mom probably watched it with her mom because that's what I did.
Mhm.
Yes, and I remember my mom would be like, "Oh, the Wizard of Oz is on," and back in the day, in the 70s or whatever,
Mhm.
we would go out and play. We didn't have cell phones, computers.
Yep.
It's a whole different world. So we would go out and play. It disappear for hours. Ride our bikes, play at each other's houses, spend the night with our friends. We were making forts. We were climbing trees. We were, knocking on doors and running away. I mean, we were doing all kinds of crazy things when we were kids. And I grew up in, let's see, Memphis was first, but that was when I was really, really, really little. And then I ended up in Houston, Spring, Texas. Then I went to Eagle Pass, Texas. Lived on the border of Mexico. All my friends were Mexican American. I learned a lot of Spanish. Helped me later on when I took Spanish in school. From there, we went to Durant, Oklahoma.
Oh, wow.
I still have tons of friends from Durant. Gosh, I still go to that reunion, even though I moved in 8th grade because I just fell in love with everybody there. That was one of my by far favorite places to live. Greatest people. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Yeah, my best friend was from there. After Durant, Oklahoma. I'm kind of offshooting. I hope you don't mind me.
All good. It's
A
fine.
little chronological thing here.
That's
Then
fine.
we ended up, my stepdad got transferred to Coffeyville, Kansas. That was the hardest move of all. Actually, that one, and then I was there 8th to 11th grade, and then I had to move the end of my 11th grade year. So I had to be a senior with complete strangers. And so that was even, I think, as hard, if not harder, to leave Coffeyville. Because right when I was going to get comfortable and kind of fit in, and people were like, oh, well, I guess she's not leaving, I started to become part of the group, because I didn't grow up with all these people. And a lot of them grew up as little kids, and they were always there. Well, I was transplanted constantly. Now it's great because you can just put me anywhere. It's like, okay. But at the time, it was devastating to a little kid like that. And I got really attached to people. So Facebook has been amazing for me. When it came around, I guess, in 2008. I think it was 2008. I think that's when I joined. 2008. That sounds right. That's when I started getting reconnected with everybody. It's just been a godsend. Other than the negativity and things like that, for me, I like hearing about people's lives, watching their children grow up and graduate. And to me, it's like amazing. Like that's my way to connect with, because I had to be ripped from them without I didn't want to move.
Yeah.
I wanted to stay with my friends, especially Durant and Coffeyville, because that was like 5th grade through 11th grade. I mean, that's crucial right there, in your development. So it's been great for me to stay in touch with them and talk about, remember whenever you spit on me in 6th grade and laughed and I told on you? Like, I remember all this stuff, And they're like, how do you remember all this stuff? I just remember it. I don't know. My brother says I have a memory like an elephant, but I can't remember what I ate for dinner last night. So he asked me what I did in 79. I can tell you.
Nice. When we were mentioning bands and all that, like ABBA and all, believe it or not, I actually met my favorite band. There's 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Which one?
The band?
Oh, wait.
Let's see if you know.
Are they like super famous? Are they like local? Or are they like?
They're famous.
Super famous?
Yes.
Okay. Hang on. Styx?
Styx? No, not Styx. That'd be cool, but no.
Aria Speedwagon?
No.
Are they still performing?
Yeah, but their singer is gone. If that will help you, their singer is gone.
Journey.
Mm-mm.
Is that Journey? 70s, 80s, and 90s. All guys? All girls? How many people?
All guys. There is 4 guys.
Def Leppard?
No.
Def Leppard.
Mm-mm. You're naming all good choices though, but no.
Yeah. Well, I've been performing in bands and we do stuff from John Bon Jovi. What, Bon Jovi?
Nope.
No. Oh my gosh. It's not classic rock.
They're rock. They're like a variety of genres.
You're gonna have to tell me, or we're gonna be here all day.
Okay, their singer. Okay, I'll tell you. Their singer died in 1991.
That's terrible. Oh my gosh. So they had to find a replacement, and they're still performing, still recording.
They found a replacement, and they found another replacement to replace that replacement. Sorry, it's kind of confusing.
The originals, and their new originals, and then there's the regulars. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I know so many groups, though. I guess you're going to tell me. What's the first name? What's the first letter?
Of their band?
Yeah.
Q.
Queen.
Yep.
Yes, I freaking love Queen. How did I not think of Queen? He died in 91. Oh my gosh, we were just watching some of his music the other night. Oh, he's Freddie Mercury.
Freddie, yeah.
He is definitely him, Neil Diamond, Lou Gramm, a foreigner.
Oh, a foreigner. I met him too.
Michael McDonald. I'm trying to name my top 5 male singers of all time. And Freddie Mercury is absolutely up there. I have a Queen CD in my car right now that I listen to, and I love Flash. I got to meet the lead guy, Sam Jones.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, Sam Jones. Yeah.
We were at the convention together in Jacksonville, and I met him like 12 or 13 years ago in San Diego at another convention.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect him to remember me, but let me tell you, I remembered him. And Queen did their theme. You probably know that.
Yeah.
He'll save every one of us. He'll save every one of us. I love that song.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's great.
It's my favorite band. I met Brian, the guitarist, and Roger, the drummer.
I'm so jealous.
I was like,
what I say now, I'm so jelly.
That's my favorite band of all time. I love it.
They're so good. There's just now I get it. How did I not think of Queen?
Love that band. Okay.
Awesome.
Do you have a favorite sport and favorite team from the sports? Like favorite sports?
I love the Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys. Gotta love them. Either people either love them or hate them. I love them. Who else? I'm not super like crazy into sports, but I definitely love the Cowboys, especially when we were traveling with the show band and Vince Vance and the Valiants. Oh, here's an awesome picture of me and Troy. Where's no glare?
You met Troy Aikman?
This is...
That is so cool.
Listen, this was a big deal. This was a really hard thing for me to pull off. I had to pull out a pink Vince Vance and the Valiants card that I just happened to have in my wallet. We were at a bar called a big giant dance saloon 2-step place in Oklahoma City called In Cahoots. And I had been performing there with Vince Vance at the Oklahoma City State Fair. I got his autograph, by the way, and I put it in there. I have another little small one on the refrigerator.
That's so cool.
I tell you what, it was really hard to pull that out. Like it was like he said, he was not doing that at all. He was doing a special meet and greet in the back of the. I couldn't get behind, like the curtain or whatever. But then when I saw that he was there, I was like, oh, we played because we played at the Cowboy Corral a lot when the Texas Stadium was here. Vince Vance and the Valiants played the Cowboy Corral. A lot of the local bands played there at the games before and after. So we were there all day long. Well, he was my favorite. Him and Emmett Smith, Michael Irvin. I'm the Dream Team. Do you remember that?
Yeah, the Great Cowboys. Yeah.
Yeah. That's when they were winning the Super Bowls. We were playing the Super Bowl parties. There was one show, where I got to meet Troy Aikman again, and Jim Jeffcoat. Oh, it's been so long. But the Emmett Smith, the Michael Irvin, they were all there, and it was just so amazing. Not Deion Sanders, smart. So we didn't meet him, but it was like 1994. I want to say, and that's back when they were winning the Super Bowls. I want to say they won like 4 or 5.
Yeah, they won a good amount.
Oh, and I've just been pulling for them. Come on, guys. So,
nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So yeah, Cowboys. Yeah, I guess would have to be my favorite sports team.
Do you like any other sports besides football?
I love to watch the Olympics. The Winter Olympics are so cool. They're so fun to watch. The ice skating, the skiing, the jumps, the flips, the snowboarding, and I could just watch that for hours. I love it when the Winter Olympics come on. Oh, and then the bobsleds where they're going so fast. And I also think I know it's kind of weird, but it's kind of fascinating to watch the not the motocross, but like the cycles where they're they're jumping. The dirt bike kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's fascinating how they just jump and then they land and and then every once in a while it's good to watch a good NASCAR race.
Nice.
It's amazing how they can do that. And then when you see them wreck and they're just come out and you're like, let's get another car, let's go again. It's crazy.
Nice. Do you like hockey?
I do a little bit. I've been to a couple of hockey games here in Dallas with the Stars. Yeah, the Stars games they're so much more fun in person though, I have to say. Same with baseball. I just can't do the baseball thing on TV. No offense, love the Texas Rangers, but I
Oh,
gotta
see
be
it
the
in
person to really get into it. Yeah, otherwise I'm gonna be on the couch or I'm gonna get distracted or I might fall asleep. But no offense to anyone, but it's just they're very long and there's a whole lot of them, and yeah. So I prefer the NFL, man. Of course.
Nice. I like hockey. If you think I'm a Hawks fan, but I'm not a Hawks
Oh
fan.
yeah,
No.
yeah.
I'm a Canucks fan. You know, the Vancouver
It's
Canucks.
crazy
Yeah.
how they let them fight and stuff and smack
Yeah.
each other around and
Yeah. Like,
this is part of the excitement, man. You get that testosterone going, you watch them going, oh, Yeah, it's crazy. My grandfather, who's Polish, who's passed away, he lived to be 88. His favorite baseball team was the Boston Red Sox, and he was able to live long enough to see them win the World
that's
Series.
fine.
So I was happy for him. So yeah, when I'd visit him, I'd sit through the baseball. I had to. There was one TV, and I was visiting him, and here we were going to watch the Boston Red Sox. So
Nice. You have a favorite movie and TV show?
yes, the movies we kind of sort of touched on before. Grease. Grease musical with Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta. Oh, I fell in love with Sandy. Of course, that's another role I wanted to be, was Sandy. I was able to do a lot of musical theater growing up, so there were a lot of plays I got to be in. We didn't ever end up doing Grease, but I did the Fantastics, played Laurie in Oklahoma, in college at University of North Texas. We did Bye Bye Birdie with the Denton Community Theater in Denton, Texas. Gosh, there's so many. All Wilderness in Coffeyville. I was very active in theater. In fact, I majored in dramatic arts in college. I just didn't finish because I got the Vince Vance job and I couldn't turn it down. So I was able to be in college and work with Vince Vance for a year or two. Then it was like the schedule was so busy and I was constantly traveling. And I was actually earning an income and starting a career. So I had to leave college for that.
Nice.
So Grease, The Wizard of Oz, Sound of Music, The Thornbirds, and I love Shawshank Redemption. Oh my gosh, who doesn't? What a crazy, awesome movie. There's so many other ones. There's one called Crash.
Okay.
It's probably, I'm not sure the year it came out. It's probably 8 or 10 years old, but that's a really good movie. There's so many. My brain's like on like crazy overload right now. Oh, Raising Arizona. Have you seen Raising Arizona with Nicolas Cage and Holly Hunter?
I've seen that. That's good.
That came out like 88 or 89. That was a big time. That and Spinal Tap was the big movie thing with Vince Vance and the Valents. We had a tour bus, and we would be able to throw in it was VHS tapes at the time. So we'd watch VHS tapes, or we'd have people bring their movies, and we'd all share movies. And and I got really, really into Beavis and Butthead. Well, I love the voices too. Of course. Shut up, Mavis.
That's cool.
Got really into that. Like South Park, it's a little crazy with the profanity and the obscenity. Not so much into that. I want to be family friendly. So, but yeah, so those movies are my favorite, but there's so many great ones. And I got to sit down and really chill out and watch some great TV, and there's great stuff on Netflix. And my favorite thing is the news. Not always, because it's not always very positive, but the good stories. I like Jimmy Fallon. I think he's crazy awesome. Saturday Night Live. Love the 70s Saturday Night Live that my dad used to watch. Rosanna Dana, that amazing cast. Jim and John Belushi, and Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, Jane Curtin. I don't know if you know anything about them, but that was amazing. That's so funny. It's so funny to watch even today. Phil Hartman. Love Chris Farley.
He was good.
Hilarious. Jim Carrey, they act with their whole body, their voice. I mean, it's amazing what they can do. So all those shows, as far as the most recent, like I said, Breaking Bad, that was something I watched. I binge watched that. I was so addicted to that. That was amazing. I loved it. The acting, everything was great on that. I'm sure I'm missing out on a whole bunch of awesome stuff, but I got to work and I got to take care of my animals, and I can't just sit and watch TV all day, Yeah. Although with the pandemic, I bet there's a lot of people doing that right now, watching a lot of TV.
Do you like Back to the Future?
Love it.
That's an 80s classic over there.
Oh, Michael J. Fox. Oh yeah, big heartthrob. Loved him on Family Ties. Yeah. I definitely was into a lot of TV in the 70s, in the 80s. I watched the show Dallas with Larry Hagman and Patrick Duffy and Victoria Principal. Oh wow, love them. I actually watched it with my parents. I was only like 14 or 15, I think. I was really young, but I loved that. And we watched on Friday nights we would watch Dukes of Hazzard. So we'd watch Dukes of Hazzard and then Dallas when we were kids. Gosh, I was only like 8 years old then. And what else? Oh, we watched Heart to Heart with Stephanie Powers, Robert Wagner. There's some great shows from back then. I'm sure you can find it. Yeah, the older stuff. Yeah. I mean, you know, I don't sit around and watch TV. If I could, I love Ellen DeGeneres. I think she's hilarious. She puts on a great show. Love her humor. Sometimes I watch The Real, The View. Hoda, what's the Kathy and Hoda? Sometimes in the mornings. Watch that show if I'm around, watching, making some coffee, getting ready to audition or lay down on a track or something.
Did you?
Yeah. Have you seen the Saturday Night Live skit More Cowbell with Christopher
Yeah,
Rock?
that was funny.
He's in that. Yeah, Jimmy Fallon and all. Oh, iconic. Yeah.
Funny.
So humor and comedy, honestly, stuff that makes you laugh, takes you away from like reality.
Yeah.
Sometimes reality can be really. Life is amazing, but it's hard. You know, there's a lot of death and destruction and grief and loss and pain, but you know, there's also a lot of amazing, beautiful, miraculous things happening everywhere around you. So, you know, you got the good and the bad. If you don't have the good, you can't have the bad or the bad with good, because then you wouldn't know the difference. So, you know, life can be like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what's so cool about playing the voice of
Gohan and Goku.
Gohan. Mostly the Cell Saga Gohan. I've heard a lot of feedback from the fans, mostly at the conventions, that and this helps me feel like I have some purpose, is that it helped them through a tough time that they were going through when they were growing up. So when they attach themselves to these characters, and it helps them get through either, you know, I was suicidal, I had depression or anxiety, or I didn't fit in at school, or I was bullied, or all these things happen. I hear a lot of this feedback, and that's the best part of it. It's like, wow, you know, touching someone's life or helping them change their mind about killing themselves. I mean, wow. I mean, that right there gives you purpose. You saved a life, or you feel like you contributed in something that was positive. Well, that's wonderful. That means I'm doing what I'm here to do. And now that I've gotten older and I've kind of done this, and this, I'm kind of trying to hone in on what exactly it is that I want to do from here on out, because this will, you know, pretty soon be, you know, well, obviously it's the end of our lives, wherever you look at it. First day of the rest of your life is what we would always say. So it's just greatness to hear that. That's
good stuff right there.
Forget the money and the fame and the whatever. I mean, when someone says that, it's like, oh, that's what I want to. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to feel like I'm really doing in the world.
Nice.
Yeah, and people with addictions too. I mean, I want to help people with addictions. I'm hoping to do some of that in the near future, because I can understand a lot of that. And you know, making mistakes and people judging you and then not being able to ever be forgiven, or walking around feeling like you have a scarlet letter or whatever, things like that. You know, we all make mistakes. And I'm a big promoter of not judging people, because nobody knows the path or what anyone's been through, which could be victims of child abuse, domestic abuse. I mean, I went through both of those. A horrible dysfunctional family and a divorce when I was 6, and being ripped from my school to school, and all of a sudden I have a stepdad, and my mom died when I was 26. She was only 51, and painfully suddenly of cancer. And I mean, I'm having to rebound from all of these things, you know, and I know it can always be worse, so I'm not complaining. And I know things happen for a reason, you know, so it's about acceptance and allowing it to make you stronger. And help someone else, because like, hey, I lost my mom too. You know, you can help others with that. You know, and then next thing you know, you hear someone, oh, I lost my mom at 10, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, I can't imagine losing my mom at 10. I mean, I had her as long as I had her, so then I try to switch it and look at the positive, which makes it more about gratitude rather than, you know, just wallowing in self-misery. I mean, self-pity. No, she wouldn't want that for me. Nobody wants that for you when they go. So.
Sorry for your loss, by the way, though. Sorry for your loss.
Oh, thank you. No, I won't dwell on it or anything. But yeah, it was pretty much the worst day of my life. So we were very close. and we had been through a lot with the divorce and everything, and I was transitioning in and out of these cities as a kid. And she was my confidant and my oasis, and just never gave up on me, my biggest fan. So definitely, if you had that question, who I'd want to meet dead or alive again, I would definitely want her to be back and for her to enjoy her grandkids. My brother has 2 beautiful daughters, Sarah and Grace. They're 20 and 16. And Sarah was born a month after my mom died. So that was really hard, especially for my brother and his family. And that was hard. But then we had this beautiful rainbow baby, Sarah, and she came out looking just and acting just like her.
Wow.
And I dreamed that she got to hold her first, which was really cool. God said, come down and hold your grandbaby and then go back. Good dreams. Happy dreams.
Hopefully when things get back to normal sooner rather than later. Are there any projects you have in the works? Any projects?
I hope to start booking Moonglass Band again. Whether it be at, I'd like to get back into the party band circuit, weddings. We did really good at like nursing home Christmas parties and little cute things like that. And live, large kind of clubs like dance clubs and things like that with really awesome sound, like nightlife, maybe a little of that, but I prefer the parties and the weddings and dressing up and everybody's it's just like crazy awesome every time. It's like a whole new, everything's different every time you go to a gig. It's like, oh, where are we gonna play? Oh, at this country club, we're gonna go over here, and it's always different, so it's hard to get bored, especially when you're doing something you love for a living and you're making a living at it. So I want to do that. And I want to definitely work on my album, which I can probably start doing without having to like wait for all this stuff to clear up if and when. So I'm finding things to do that are creative every day, even if it's just cutting up in the house or playing with my kids. I say they're my kids with Brady. Brady is my little boy in a dog suit, and two cats, 2 Persians that just lay around and look cute.
Awesome.
Sleep and eat. Yeah.
Okay.
What else? I need to remember to. The Adventures of Ryan DeFreitas is a show that I think is on hiatus right now. But I played Dead the Mom. It's on American Family Network. And the Adventures of Ryan DeFreitas, DeFrates. Okay. And that's a project that I'm hoping will pick up. There's 8 episodes that can be found online on DVD as well. Kids love it. There's a moral story. It's like a moral every story. It's great. It's good, clean humor, which I love. With being that you love kids, I don't really want to do anything too racy because that would my mom in heaven would be like, that's not how she raised me. She was very conservative and raised me to be a lady. So I try to be a lady, but sometimes I just want to be one of the guys. I had brothers. I had a big brother and 2 stepbrothers. So. And then another stepbrother and a stepsister in Indiana. So, actually boys. Yeah.
What advice would you give younger people who want to become like a voice actor?
I would say dive into anything and everything that involves your passion, whether it be theater, getting a vocal coach, learning how to, breathe and use your diaphragm and all that. There's so much information on the internet. There's YouTube videos, there's instructional videos, putting together a demo of some kind, like voice acting, for sure. For voice acting, I would suggest having a headshot taken, maybe try to seek some representation. There's a lot of things you can do online with voice acting. There's sites where you can join and set up a profile, put your demo up, and then audition for work that you can do at home if you have all of the equipment, which a lot of people are doing nowadays. It's easier than it's ever been, really, to do things out of your own home and put it together and get the software. Maybe go to some classes so that you can learn the software for, say, Cool Edit or Audition. What's it called? Adobe Audition. Yeah. And what else do you think? Call Dan Bradford and he'll make a really killer demo for you. But yeah, and then just to find what you're best at. Like, what do you feel most comfortable with? Like, for me, it's absolutely hands down character voices. all kinds of different characters. When I mimic things or make up different characters, just walking around the house, I think of all kinds of different voices that I can do for my family. Like I had an aunt that was just amazing, Aunt Monia in Rhode Island, and she was like, "Oh yeah, oh that's amazing, Stephanie. I can't believe you're doing that. Your Uncle Randy would really, really appreciate that. You want to call you Uncle Randy?" Oh, everything was, oh, yeah. It's like, I actually used her voice as a reference for like a side part in Dragon Ball.
Mhm.
And she was a little old lady in the town village, and she actually was in the same scene as Goku, little Goku. So Goku was, and she was like, I don't remember what she said, but I played this, it was just a little bit part, but I used my aunt in Rhode Island, my Polish aunt, as a reference. So I use family members, babysitters, people that I hear on TV and morph it into my own, I don't know. I just play around all the time with voices.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that advice.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm trying to think of what's one of the ones I've been doing lately? How long has it been since you've had to get on Texas Peter? Oh, I said that. Sorry. No. I like to kind of experiment with some guy voices and men voices, not just be, which is crazy. I thought I'd end up, when I auditioned for Dragon Ball Z, I thought, oh, I'm going to obviously audition for Chi-Chi and Poir and Bulma, and instead, when I went in to audition, they asked me to voice a young boy. And I was like, a young boy? Well, what? And so I just kind of gave them what I thought sounded like a young boy. And then they said, okay, yeah. Now be a little more raspy, which some of the fans were like, why is she raspy? They told me to be raspy. They directed me to be raspy. So, like more like this, but Piccolo, some little kids have raspy voices, it doesn't necessarily mean you're a chain smoker or you're, 70-year-old. Yeah, I don't know. So I just followed their direction because I really didn't know what they wanted from me at all. I was just so excited to be involved in something so unique. And when I got cast as Gohan, I was over the moon and just absolutely loved it. And then this became this crazy thing. And when I went to my first convention in 2000 in San Diego, I was there with Chris Sabat, Sean Schemmel, Sonny Strait, and me. And I remember when the kids were coming through that were just starting to watch the show, they didn't believe that I was really the voice because I was a girl. So I had to demonstrate for them, and they had to prove it, which is, Bart Simpson's a female. A lot of the little kid Ash from Pokemon, they're girls. Okay, KO, So yeah, I thought for sure I had no idea I'd be cast as a little boy, and let alone two little boys, and then a baby. So yeah, it's just kind of grown from there. I get inspiration from just anything and everything I see.
Nice. I like that. Okay. Is there anything you like to promote or shout out?
Well, I'm gonna promote this cool mouse. Is it upside down? My friend Paulina Creighton in Modesto, California made me two of these beautiful masks. Yay. That's cool. I want to shout out to her. Krista also made me one. I don't have it. I did wear it at the Jacksonville convention. So I want to shout out to Krista. As far as what I'm doing, the Wonderbot Animals on YouTube. Please go to Wonderbot Animals and we'll get you the link. There's a ton of them now. I don't know how many. I've done 30 or 40 maybe by now, and I'm just doing them weekly. Just like I said, 2 or 3 at a time. Knocking them out, really enjoying it, not just because of the work, but I really love, like truly, genuinely love animals. If I could have like 1,700 animals and take care of all of them, I would. I'd just be a full-time like animal take care person. That or babies. Let me just hold babies all day. I can hold babies all day long, entertain kids. But the Wonderbot Animals, so I really like it because the stories are so touching and heartwarming, and I just love it because I think it's good for families and kids, and so I enjoy that part of it as well. And I'm really learning how to just sit down and knock out a long, go and just not even read it ahead of time, just go for it, and knowing when to pause and try to read ahead, and got around our ears, I can't see.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm getting into that. And like I said, I'm going to try to get some stuff going with an album, maybe a song, record that with some of my favorite musicians here around Dallas-Fort Worth. Other than that, it's just working more at home, getting a presence on the internet with some more opportunities to do voiceovers online, sending things in. And Dan Bradford, my fellow trustee engineer here, sidekick, left-hand man, Dan the man, can help me do that, and I can hopefully help him. He does radio spots at his radio station. I read spots for him. He reads spots. He records this awesome Pastor Hill in Hurst, Texas. And I want to learn how to edit. I want to learn how to do more of the technical side. And I also want to get back with the piano. Got a really awesome piano that can do so much more than we even have a clue of what it does. So I really want to get into that. And yeah, maybe just keep working on trying to get cast in something really cool, something new, something exciting, or video games, you know.
Yeah.
And get with people in the industry, network, you know, scratch their back, they'll scratch mine, help each other out, you know, it comes back to you kind of thing. And yeah, stuff like that.
Nice. Does Dan or Brady want to say hi or anything?
Dan, you want to say hi? Dan the man. Lieutenant Dan.
I need to go get myself ready.
He needs to fix his hair. He's working on some stuff from home. Oh, he'll be back in a second.
Okay. Okay.
What else is there? Did you see my cute little pop toy?
Oh, nice. That's cool.
My little Go Home pop toy on the Flying Nimbus. I've got this. A fan gave me that, and a fan gave me this. I think this is hilarious.
That's cool.
Isn't that cute? He moves, his little feet move. He can go from side. I think he can go from side to side. Is this the one? Oh yeah, his head moves a little bit. Oh, we gotta get Brady Bradford in here.
Maybe get the little fur child. Little fur child.
Here's Brady's dog. Here's Brady. He's Brady Bradford, and this is Dan. Dan the man.
Wait. Oh gosh. I'm not as pretty as I used to be.
He's got facial hair now. He's
Hey, Dan the man.
Hey man, how you doing, John?
You want to say hi to the folks?
Brady can sing.
He can sing and howl and he can talk.
Let's sing.
Hey,
Let's sing.
See if he'll do it. Will he do it when he's in my lap?
Probably. Let's see.
Oh!
Oh!
Brady!
Now, how much would you pay? Answer this. We could do this all day long.
That's cool. That's cool.
Here, I'll take
Awesome.
He gets to go to the dog park a lot here lately.
That's cool.
Getting out and about. It's kind of hot here in Texas. It's been in the hundreds, but now it's in the 90s. Now we can go more often. It's so cool now.
Yeah.
I don't have fur babies. Let's see. I don't know where my fur babies are. My other two fur babies.
They won't let me
I've got Itty Bitty and JoJo. They are my Persians. I've got a white one. Yeah, they're sleeping or hiding somewhere.
Nice.
They all get fed like kings and queens, and I eat ramen noodles. I'm just kidding. Yeah.
I'll also link your. If you have a Twitter or Instagram, I'll link that too. If you have
I've got to get better with Twitter. It's Steph Vox, STEPHVOX. I'm just gonna have to sit down and just like noodle around with it and navigate and try to figure out how to tweet and retweet. Man, I know how to hit the little heart. I'm also trying to work on Instagram. I do have an Instagram account. I'm really mostly on Facebook right now, but I'm hoping to get into the others as well, so that I'm like diversified and I can I get to hear more feedback that way from my fans and get to kind of interact. And you know, if they want an autograph, we can set it up, and we can, you know, even if it can't be in person, we can figure something out and stuff. Yeah, I get some fan mail from time to time. It's just awesome. That's really cool. Sign something, send it back.
I'll link all your social medias.
Right, and I just now set up a new fan mail email I'd like to promote as well. Okay. It is stephanieffanmail@gmail.com. So that's STEPHANIEFANMAIL@gmail.com. And I'll be checking that regularly for people who wanted to say hi or tell me what their favorite episode is or give me some feedback, or just say, hey, I like your work, or don't like your work, or
Be positive. Okay.
whatever. So that's something new. So I'll be checking that regularly. So we can put that on there underneath somewhere.
I'll make sure I link all your stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll make sure you get all that info.
Okay. Awesome.
Anything else you want to know? Anything else you want to hear?
I'm
The Windstar video. I wanted to tell you guys on YouTube. If you put in my name, Stephanie Nadolny Windstar, Winstar,
Okay.
it will show this amazing compilation video that was all put together by the amazing bass player extraordinaire vocalist Dan Bradford. And it just goes from song to song. It was kind of a demo that we put together for some things I was auditioning for, but it's still up and it's really kind of cool, and it kind of highlights what we did and the costumes and the camaraderie with the seniors there at the Windstar World Casino. And again, it's the High Rollers show band, and it's Stephanie Nadolny, Nadolny, Windstar, Winstar. And there's other videos up there too that you can kind of just look up, and I'm going to be putting some more things up in the future.
Nice.
Oh, Kids Christmas. You got to look up Kids Christmas with my name as well. That was written and produced and sung by me. I'm actually singing in Goku's voice, which is kind of cool.
Oh, that's cool.
The little boy voice sounds a lot like Goku, and then the little girl voice is just a little girl voice that I did. And then I do the boy voice and the girl voice, and then they sing together in harmony. So I'm hoping to do some more of that. That's really fun to like write, produce, and then like
do the voices.
Process of putting it all together and then seeing the final product. It's like, oh, so cool.
That's cool.
Of course, I can't finish an interview without saying, Kamehameha.
Awesome. That's awesome. Well, I thank you all so much for watching. Thank you again, Ms. Nadolny, for being a great guest. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Stay awesome.
Text, email.
Yeah.
Your people and my people will go have lunch.
Yep. Stay awesome, everybody, and stay awesome, Auntie stuff.
Thank you. Love you guys. Bye from Dallas, Texas.
Thank you.
Woohoo!